looking to lock up everybody besides the first two picks. The Shen and the Zac are the ones that they're going to try and avoid here.
But speaking of locking up, Curse have locked in a lockdown combo. That wasn't even intentional. Curse locking in the Zyra and Ashe. So we've seen this bottom lane now for the last month or so in North America, and they've got so much crowd control on this lineup. They can pick any fight they want.
Yeah, so this is thanks to Cloud9 right here. Everybody can give a shout out to Lemon Nation and Sneaky there. One of the most interesting parts of this Ashe Zyra lane that people don't talk as much about. I mean, everybody talks about the range. Oh, that's great, and the crowd control stuns that they can combine, but they also are one of the most least reliant on vision wards because of both Hawkshot for Ashe and then also the seedlings from Zyra.
Yeah.
They can actually have their support save a lot of money by not purchasing early wards and basically just saving up for money until she can get that Sightstone. So the support gets to be very frugal here and very cost effective with her items.
You're right, it's one of the few supports I've seen actually buy ability power items. Leandri's Torment, I think one of the favorites there from the support Zyra. So we'll see if Edward gets to be true to his name, the Edward carry.
Yeah.
And Curse making the last few decisions. Of course, TSM have locked in the remainder of an AoE team with the Jarvan and Rumble there.
This TSM team right now is looking for a level 6 fight.
Yes.
When they get level 6, they are going to go for that dragon. What we've seen in the past that can go wrong with these teams is if they get a little aggressive before that and they miss their time up, where Curse can capitalize on maybe a couple kills bottom or something, then they don't get the first dragon fight because they've lost their bottom lane potential and Curse can take that one away. So TSM have to be careful not to give away kills before they get to their level 6. And then they're going to be all happy about going for any team fights that they can force around whatever, turrets or dragons, whatever they can get.
There's actually an interesting mismatch of cooldowns for the ultimates as well. Certainly Shen and Karthus, I think, actually have literally the same cooldown. But you've got an Ashe arrow. The primary pick tool for the Curse lineup is about like 100 seconds at rank 1. So you can try to kill Karthus twice per Requiem and use that to go for Dragon or something and steal that away from TSM.
Exactly. And another thing here, we have to take it back a little bit and talk about the video. Very misleading for Curse there because you're right, the last character that they locked in was that Rise. So Curse pulling a couple tricks here. They're going to look for some scaling in this game, and they're not putting everything on the very early style that they've been known for, where they rely a lot on Saintvicious to go make early games successful, which is a pretty risky style. If their ganks aren't successful, then it's very hard for those types of teams to get back in the game.
It's true. It's going to be kind of relying on split pushing and global pressure, honestly, on both sides, ironically, to see if they can get themselves back in. We've actually seen so far that every team with the early game lead has closed it out so far today. So far today, the teams that started out early on have closed themselves through, but we're now into the game. It's game number 4 on the day, everybody. Curse in red in the top right corner. If they can beat TSM, they tie in the standings. Of course, TSM in blue on the bottom left, and they've got that big team fight composition. Leaving out their bases, going to be human wards for a second before they put the real ones down.
Because the real ones cost money, so they'd love to save every few seconds that they could save before putting down those wards. Means another few seconds in the mid game where they actually have more vision.
So I want to look at some of the opening builds right here because look at... Ooh, OddOne puts a flag down but then sees Saintvicious on the other side. He walks away. I don't believe OddOne got seen as well, so Curse's invade does get spotted here as they run towards the red buff.
So that's a little trick. If you are in the furthest away sort of tendril of that tri-bush and you see the enemy coming, you can quickly turn the corner. And as long as you make sure to get around the corner, the Fog of War will cover your retreat, and they won't know that you've seen them invade.
Yeah, but now Reggie had used Lay Waste and that little brush to the side and knows, hey, I know you warded this, and you know that I know you warded this. So Curse says, all right, well, we got vision, but we're going to back out here. But have 3 wards now in TSM's jungle, in their red side jungle. So a lot of knowledge about the level 1 is known.
And it's pretty funny that we started this one out talking about Saintvicious used to be the carry jungler, and he always looks to invade the OddOne. But Zac actually, his early game is weaker than Jarvan's, and the OddOne here has a chance to, get some payback on that the bully for the entirety of Season 2. We'll have to see if the TheOddOne can actually make use of the ward coverage that he got on Saints Red.
We'll see, because the buffs are getting started, and it looks like we're going to have unequal lanes right here. So the Graves and Sona for TSM, they're going to take double golems. Saintvicious and Voyboy actually starting their stuff late, took Wolves, and then went for the blue buff here, sharing a little bit more experience. And
continuing on with our Season 2 theme here, that was when Wolves spawned before buffs. Yeah. And so people would always start Wolves into blue buff. But nowadays, it's just because Voyboy does not want to rush to this lane. It's a 2v1 lane, so he says, hey, I've got some time to kill. I'll help you with another camp, Saint, and I'll help you get ahead by doing these Wolves with you.
You know what's cute, actually, is Voyboy shared XP on Wolves and on the big golem, so he's halfway to level 2, and Saint just had to kill the little minis to get himself to 2. So Voy's actually going to get a bit of an XP lead in this 1v2 lane. And
that's the adaptation, because after so many 2v1 lanes, Voyboy's like, the first few seconds of a 2v1 lane is the AD carry and support completely zoning you anyway, and even getting off more harass just like this to take you low. So he decided to spend his time a little bit more optimally.
And right now, speaking of spending time, TheOddOne is spending his defending Dyrus here in the top lane. The last, or I should say the third wave has come in. The cannon minion is there, but it's a 2-on-2 unless Saint shows up.
And generally, a Jarvan Rumble 2v2 lane is pretty scary, but since Curse have this very, very strong disengaged duo of the Ashe Zyra, they're feeling very confident. And it's really just up to Edward to land the grasping roots and stall out all of TSM's plan if they decide to go aggressive at all.
And you look at the minion kills right here, and so far, Dyrus is actually having a much worse time than Voyboy here. Voy, level 3, holding onto his lane. Saint finally showing up now in the bottom here. Voy has lost some health, but the minion kill's not too bad for him.
And 3 of those actually were Wolves for Voyboy too, so he's padding his stats a little bit.
They're not real minion kills. Some of those were 6 gold. Actually, to be fair, Dyrus is going to kill 5 gold plants as well, so Edward's going to inflate that score a little bit. Dyrus, though, still playing the deep. Yeah, see, there we go. Free minion kill from the plant. But TheOddOne is playing defense here for Dyrus. And so these lanes are just holding on as 2v2s.
Yeah, so both the 2v2 lanes really just going to focus on clearing right now, because the AD carry and support in both these situations are extremely burst heavy, and they're getting plenty of harass off. So if we look at the mid lane instead, then that's where we can see what Nyjacky was talking about with going early game aggression. He started his build with the mana crystal and just pots, so he's got no vision. But the reason he can do that is because they're forcing these 2v2 side lanes. He knows the junglers in the side lane. He doesn't need a ward in that mid lane early at all, and he's free to start the very aggressive mana crystal.
But even despite that, he's actually 7 minion kills down on Reginald, so that heads up 1v1 lane is going TSM's way right now, which is something that Curse has to consider a little bit. They've got a little bit of a gold deficit. TSM up 200 from just the laning phase.
There is a pretty good reason why most people ban Karthus against Reginald. He's extremely practiced on that champion. He's very good at CSing with him, even in the early levels where it's a little bit more difficult to CS with Karthus. It never really gets very, very hard because he has to have the late waste. But he's definitely, this is one of his most practiced champions. And if you are going to give up one of the bans to let Reggie have that, then you usually need to come with a plan, because Karthus will scale very, very well into the late game.
And here we can see the junglers still just holding on to the lane. So you talk about coming up with a plan to deal with Karthus, but they're certainly not using a gank to do so. Saint is just defending Voyboy here time and again. And the interesting thing is this lane phase has lasted much longer than we typically see, because the junglers are defending. These turrets aren't going down anytime soon. But just kind of keeping track of progress, I think TSM are getting more damage on the Curse turret than vice versa.
Yeah, a little bit. It's really going to probably be the first kill that does turn the tables. But maybe, Curse's way to deal with Reginald, giving Reginald Karthus, is not in the early game. It's in the late game. They're not looking to play into TSM's hand and go to those team fights. Because we talked about TSM, they're 100% looking for AoE on their team fights. Pretty much all of their characters are based around that. So it's up to Curse to make use of their split pushing potential. And for that to actually work out, they got to get Voyboy ahead. They got to get him some kind of money from some source.
And he's doing okay-ish. He's got 28 minions. He's trying to hold on to his turret. It's taken dangerously low right here. WildTurtle and Xpecial, will they stay for it? Minions are running out, and WildTurtle says, I'll wait one more wave. That's okay. We'll wait for this one out, and that might just be enough. I don't think Voy's going to get there in time. Maybe he will. It's going to be close to defend this turret.
Oh, it's really low. So that one will probably be the first to go down, and after that, we look at... Whoa, Saint just jumps all the way over Turtle's head here. Leapfrog.
Yeah, he just jumped right over him. Yeah. But unfortunately, I think he thought WildTurtle was going to jump backwards, but WildTurtle was like, no, Voyboy's not here yet. I can take this one down. So first turret does go TSM's way. No successful real gank attempts here for Saintvicious, and Reggie now has that Requiem on Karthus. So the big power spike is there. Voyboy, though, has his own on Curse. So the globals are up, and the laning phase is about to start getting interesting.
And because of that extra damage that Saint did do to the minion wave for Voyboy was going to push forward no matter what. So Voyboy right now, he's doing his best, frantically trying to shove that bottom lane to get it to the turret, to try and get it to reset here with Cannon Minion, because now he is, not only does he not have a turret, but he also doesn't have wards protecting him. So he's in a very dangerous position.
And the blue buffs being taken down as well. So far, these aren't in much danger from getting stolen at the very least. Just standard stuff here for the TSM lineup, as well for Curse. So we look at the mid laners, still an 18 minion difference. See if it changes at all with blue buff here. Both of level 8. Actually, interestingly, bit of a swap here. Dyrus is chilling in the mid lane. They could be looking at Dragon.
So they're definitely looking for Dragon. Everybody's level 6 right now. They've got all their toys available to play with. And Curse's answer is send Voyboy top. So Curse right now, they're looking to stall TSM at this Dragon as long as possible to allow Voyboy time to free farm up there so he can get to that split pushing threat level, whereas TSM actually took a little bit too much harass there on Dyrus, and their window that Jao was talking about, all the windows being open.
Yeah,
Curse just got a close one.
No breeze coming through for the TSM house. Then Voyboy knocking on the front door of it, looking for this top lane turret, hoping he could maybe equalize the scoreline on that one. But you're right. So new lanes here for TSM, trying to do what they can. I had a point to make and I forgot what it was, because you talked about windows and stuff and I got excited. Like, I literally don't remember anymore. So, Cop, though, does have his arrow. Edward has his stuff as well. Actually, went Summoner Heal, by the way. Yeah,
I definitely want to, we can talk about this bottom lane, because this is a very exciting 2v2 matchup. Curse, they've got the amazing disengage or Crystal Arrow engage combo, but TSM, they have, as long as Xpecial is able to get a good crescendo when he hits level 6, then he'll be able to lock up both those champions, and this TSM combo can burst down an Ashe or a Zyra before they get off a single spell.
Oof, that could be rough, especially you look at those guys that finished their BF swords. So glass cannon very much, and their windows might get broken. So Reginald just defending here in the top, I should say defending, pushing in the top lane here, is level 9, has the blue buff, and he might recall and re-engage for Dragon off of this one. Saintvicious though holding the bottom lane. This could be their time to make something happen. Yeah, so Reginald, again, gonna go back to that top lane. TSM have decided that rather than force a dragon fight, oh, there goes the Crystal Arrow. The Shen ult as well. WildTurtle flashes away, but the Let's Bounce still lands. The Shadow Dash does not hit, but they get the kill. First blood picked up to Saintvicious, and now can TSM react in time? They've got everyone around here. No crescendo from Xpecial means no chance there for WildTurtle. He gets blown up, and that right there is the bonus of having the Crystal Arrow Ashe on your team. Now that they're down a member, it's very hard for TSM to go. The plants are down. Edward ult comes across. Look at the damage output coming in there. Odwin gets blown up 2-0 so far for Curse. TSM still waiting around though. Can they go for, they can't go for Smite, but Odwin is dead. Saintvicious picks it up right there. Wins the Smite duel against nobody, but that's good. Curse 2 for 0 and the Dragon. TSM, they have a great AoE fighting composition, but they didn't get any damage in exchange for WildTurtle's death. So that was a straight up 4 versus 5 engage. And Curse are looking to capitalize. Amazing crescendo, though. Getting the kill on a Nyjacky. Pops the bloblets as well. This could very much be a dead Saintvicious as well. And look at that. WildTurtle just steals it away with the collateral damage. And now it's a 2 for 2. And this mid turret's going down. This is the importance of keeping track of those cooldowns. The reason that Curse were able to get that kill on WildTurtle down bottom
was because there was no crescendo from Xpecial. He didn't want to blow that one, and so he still had it in his pocket with the weird sort of re-engage there from Curse and from Saint and Nyjacky. Definitely misplay, and they overextended, and now they're gonna pay for it with some more turret damage.
And they're not gonna. Yeah, look at that. Curse just not able to make many moves in. The Wall of Pain and the Lay Waste wave clear. Plenty strong here from Reginald. 112 minions on him. Has the Rod of Ages already done, and 900 gold in his back pocket. Buys a tier off of that one. He's going to be in pretty good shape. Late game Karthus, they're getting there.
Yeah, and that's really a side bonus of a very heavy AoE team fighting composition, is that they have amazing wave clear with this team. So they actually can defend turrets very well. If they're able to stall this out with just a few people doing the wave clearing, then they can wait until they do get that perfect engage, which is going to rely on the flash crescendos and the cataclysms there from OddOne.
See what we got then. Yeah, and the thing is, like, WildTurtle has to be so afraid of Voyboy taunting him out of the turret, but with Xpecial there, they don't have to be worried anymore. So this turret under so much fire. Saint's going to show up. The taunt does not land, though. This could just be the turret picked up here for TSM, making that 3-0. TSM doing a very good job of taking all the outer turrets down by 13 minutes.
And their duo down here in the mid lane is doing a great job with the wave clear that we just talked about. They were able to defend in that situation because they were in position first, whereas up top, it was the 3 members of TSM that got the advantage because they shoved in their minion wave.
And now Dyrus waiting around. His ulti is available. Reginald still not been cast yet this time, and Xpecial just has 10 seconds to go until his. So the whole team fight comp is here for TSM if there's something to fight for. There you go. We talked about the bans for Karthus. Was it 15? Because he's picked it 5 times, which means literally every TSM game has had Karthus and Champ Select.
Yes. If Karthus is not banned, Reggie will pick him. That's what we just saw, and it's because we already went over all the reasons because.
Yeah, he's really good at it. And he makes them win fights, and TSM's good at it. Cop, though, on Ashe, looking to make some moves here. Trying to make his mark. Push down on this turret, deals some damage. Hawkshot comes across. Doesn't scare OddOne. He's not afraid of Hawks.
So now what Curse are looking to do is make use of their split pushing potential to draw TSM apart from each other. And once they have vision of TSM in multiple places on the map, the 3 different lanes right here, then it's time for another Crystal Arrow. And they just go on that Crystal Arrow, fully engage. They can even back that up with a Stand United if they have to tank a turret. And they just have to all in whatever the target they do catch out.
And see if they can do that then. The pick comp is here off the back of Cop for the most part. He's going to have to make sure that everyone respects his authority. Those arrows will be what Curse needs. Saint just sweeping away the jungle, trying to get his farm going. You can see that Saint and OddOne actually pretty similar in terms of minion kills so far, not farming too differently from one another. WildTurtle's been given a lot of this free lane farm, though. Look at him compared to Dyrus, 127 to 93. They're putting a lot of the eggs in the WildTurtle basket.
And the most interesting part about that basket is that WildTurtle is spending his money on an Infinity Edge rather than going with the sort of mid-game power spike of Bloodthirster into Last Whisper, which is so powerful with Graves' AD, Blake's flat AD scaling kit. A lot of the, especially like Chinese teams, when running an AoE teamfight combo like this, will just have their Graves run that Bloodthirster Last Whisper combo so they get the most out of their AoE spells.
The most burst, yeah. So instead, he's like a little bit more clean at base. It's interesting to look at. TSM, though, look how aggressive they're playing. They've got the outer turrets down, and they're going into the opposing jungle here. The wave crew in the top lane, they might look to take this turret down, but Dyrus got to be afraid of Nyjacky, but beautiful job slowing him down. Gets away.
And TSM really going to the source of the global right there so they couldn't get jumped on. Taking advantage of the small window where Cop was in the base. Now, as soon as he does come back, they're going to have to pull out. And they do try and place a few wards here. The only 2 people not joining this fight are Nyjacky and Dyrus right now.
So they're going to be off in their own little battle right here. I feel like Nyjacky should have the edge, but we'll see as it pans out. TSM, all 4 are up here. The rest of Curse looking to collapse. Can they find the battle they're looking for?
If they can get a taunt under the turret, well, they're just going to go for the arrow.
They find Xpecial. There's the burst coming across. So much damage. Xpecial forced to flash over the wall. Cup finds it. Crescendo only hits one. Reggie dives in, burns exhaust on the Cup, but there's the dunk in. Stadium Data comes across. This will be a bit of a lead here. Edward takes the kill on Reginald. 4-2 here. WildTurtle shows up though. Can they kill off Cup? Barrier used, and they get the kill back. Saint still in the fight. Edward is here to help them try to kill off the TheOddOne, and Saint is regenning back up with those little bloblets. TheOddOne forced to flash back. Saintvicious chasing down, has the red buff. Stretching strike lands as well. Can he land one more ability? Gets the knockup, gets the TheOddOne, stops him from getting over the wall. Oh, beautiful stuff there, Curse. Great job.
Yeah, the Crystal Arrow engage was perfect. All of TSM were grouped up, so you couldn't be quite sure who was going to hit, and it actually hit the best target, locking down Xpecial so that Curse got enough damage on Xpecial before he came out of CC and was able to use his crescendo that he was in panic mode, flashed away, and only crescendoed a single person. That would have been completely different if he immediately turned around to crescendo all three.
Yeah, completely. And so Curse are rewarded for the team fight by taking down this dragon right here. The plants will take it a little bit, and then Saint shows up and says, I got this one. Brings that one down. Dragon slain now by Team Curse. And they've actually now got a gold lead despite 0 turret kills.
Because they weren't just happy with the kill, they also kept in mind the objective after. It's a really, really promising start here from Curse to get the gold lead back and get right back into this game.
And they're undefeated in Dragons. They're, I believe, 2-0 on Dragons in this game, 0-3 in turrets, but those are still up on the map for them to take down. Actually, I kind of have a question for you in this one. Like, how much do you consider turrets as like, man, you got to get rid of them versus they'll be gold eventually for us?
So with the Curse team, I'd actually say that it's good this way because they are the ones who can choose the team fights. Yes, TSM have all this power. If you ever group up as 5 people and just run straight into TSM, then they've got a huge advantage because they can blast everyone at once. But Cursed are the ones with the tools at their disposal to choose when those fights actually happen. They've got the Crystal Arrow and the Stand United. So they're the ones actually making the shots or calling the shots here in this game.
All right, so Curse looking to keep themselves in good shape here. 700 gold, still the lead for these guys. And you're seeing TSM much more defensive than last time around. They got caught out pretty hard in the last battle by that arrow. And now it's Voyboy. And look, he's like actually freezing this lane sort of. He's like barely pushing it out and not putting that much pressure on the map just yet, which does give time for Dyrus to show up and defend that top lane turret.
And vision control is extremely important for both teams. That's why sort of Voyboy is taking his time up there. The thing is, if TSM send multiple people to go pick off Voyboy, then they don't have anything to answer for the other lanes. So it's very dangerous situation for both teams here, and it's really going to depend on when Curse decide to use the next Crystal Arrow. Oh, Dyrus gets taunted!
He has to flash away from the jump in from Saintvicious, so that's another cooldown burn. 5 minutes on that one. Red buff taken up here by WildTurtle. That's one thing I always look at is when teams start giving the red buffs away to the AD carries, and so you get 20 minutes here, they know they're going to be team fighting soon.
So they're going to want to make use of that while it's on Ash. Here we go, actually down bottom, Reggie goes for it.
Just dives right in, gets the taunt as well. Beautiful move right there, Nyjacky making it happen. Reggie doesn't even use the exhaust, knew he was going to go down on that one. Great pickup there, but Saint getting chased out. A lot of damage in from Dyrus, but the arrow lands from across the map. Saint, he's got to be safe here. There's almost no way, but WildTurtle catches him. Good pickup there, TheOddOne and Xpecial making it happen. Cop goes down, so now actually TSM get to push in.
TheOddOne right there doing a great job, I believe, catching him out and allowing Xpecial to follow up with the crescendo. There goes Edward!
Edward just explodes right there, pops Opa, gets nothing for it. TSM getting the catches, did not expect that from these guys.
They had to use the arrow defensively there to save Saintvicious because he didn't have his passive available either. And even though they already used the Stand United down bottom, Nyjacky is not getting much done on that turret.
Wow, yeah, Rise, one of the slowest turret pushers in the game.
Oh,
Voyboy does not land. The taunt goes in a WildTurtle. He's going to quick draw away from that one, but this might be enough to have Curse save their own turret as Nyjacky is home-graded back into the team.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate when you whiff one of those Shadow Dashes as Shen, because when you hit enemies, not only do you reduce their damage and force them to attack you, but it also restores 40 of your energy. So if you miss it, then you don't get to use your other spells either. It's very punishing ability.
No, unfortunate then by Voyboy, but the team has regrouped for the mid lane, just tanking the turret a little bit. Cop finds some damage, but still only the one turret picked up. Nyjacky did make that happen finally in the bottom lane. Minions, of course, helped him after that kill onto Reginald. And here we go, Curse sitting at exactly equal gold. Want this mid turret, so you're seeing them hang around. Saint just near the background, but no Stand United up, so one less opportunity there for Curse.
Yeah, and it's very hard for Curse to pull something without both of those tools available because of that amazing wave clear that TSM are packing in almost every champion they have.
So Reggie just clearing away the Wraiths, not, I guess, having the easiest time of farming. He's not breaking that 10 per minute mark that we see from Karthus. Is every once in a while when they have just a nice free lane and no one kind of messes with them, we've seen Curse actually make a lot of moves stopping Reginald from farming in the mid game. So Nyjacky, again, lying to us. WildTurtle, though, getting caught out. It's going to be tough for him. The damage output comes across. Nice kill pick up there. The engages, they just keep getting bound in the mid game for Curse.
Yeah, so that wasn't anything to do with Crystal Air or whatever. That was the vision we talked about being important. WildTurtle just a little bit too far out. And at this point in the game, the Elastic Slingshot from Zach maxed out. It's as long as a Nidalee Spear, so he can come from very deep in that Fog of War.
You saw him right there. WildTurtle going back into his shell for another 10 seconds till he can respawn. TheOddOne just going to hold on to the mid lane. In the meantime, TSM, they've not found a dragon fight for a while now because Curse snuck that last one down. The 5v5 is not something they've seen, but 30 seconds to the next dragon, TSM might be able to start pushing the issue again, making a 5v5 happen, and getting that AoE cluster together.
They would definitely love to have the arrow burned while they were too far away from Curse for the immediate follow-up, because that would allow TSM to get their full rotation off. And I believe if you're a TSM fan, mostly what you're watching here is Xpecial, so we don't have the same situation like we had in the top lane where he gets bursted so low at the beginning that he can't make use of the flash crescendo.
And here we go. These steeds are down from Edward and the battle is about to begin. TSM standing on top of wards, but of course TSM also knows where Curse are. They're going to disengage from the dragon. Curse could wait for an arrow. They could just try to engage hardcore back onto the dragon here. The seeds, the plants, they're dead from Edward. Puts another one down. Still easy to kill. And there comes the arrow. They land on a Reginald. Initiation comes across. There's the equalizer. The knockup onto everybody. Reggie trying to get forward. Crescendo lands on 3, and Reggie is going to go in for the damage. Edward will be falling down. They're forcing everyone to run back. Saint has been split into bloblets right here. The ult, though, does not kill anyone from Reginald, and it's a 2-for-2 right here. Both teams backing out.
So Curse actually were just trying to force the dragon. They didn't get anything out of their split pushing abilities there with sending Shen sideline or anything, and they actually chained their CC on Karthus first with the Crystal Arrow into a taunt to try and limit Reggie's damage and just kill him before he could get out of crowd control. But since they weren't able to burst him down in that CC, he was still able to get into a good position.
But they're going to re-engage, jumping right on in. Nyjacky looks for WildTurtle. WildTurtle cutting it out so well, though. The Stand United helping Nyjacky stay alive, but he still goes down. But Cop has rejoined the fight. Dyrus just drops down to the Frost Arrows. 1-for-1 again. And now maybe Curse has control over the dragon.
Not only did they trade that 1-versus-1, but they were able to stop TSM from taking the dragon. That was so low. It was down to 1,000 life. So it's almost within smite range there, but they were actually able to stop it out. So a good win for them, and now it would be a 4-versus-4 again at this dragon, and no Stand United this time.
The Enchanter Crystal Arrow, though, up in the next few seconds. About 15 left in that one. It's not enough for them to try to fight up against TSM. Both teams have this area warded. They both know what's kind of going on here, but they're just going to say, you know what? TSM, we're going to wait for cooldowns. We don't have Crescendo. We don't have Requiem. Just kidding! Haha! And they might get this before Curse can react.
Just kidding! Haha, we got the dragon. Yes, so they return
I'm bad at calling like all
area.
of these.
And because there was no Stand United available again, you know, Voyboy showing up top gave them the confidence to pull that trick and haha you.
Yeah, I got haha pretty hard right there. So Saint starts up on the red buff. Voyboy is around to help kill it down. It's actually Voy. Okay, so Voy's going to get the red buff here, so his dueling capability goes up quite a bit higher now with that red buff. He can both light them on fire and then light them on fire again. So Scary Ninja to deal with at this point. Nyjacky still getting the side lane farm. You look at him, and he's at 224 minions. He was losing his lane to Reginald, but now has a 30 minion kill lead over that guy now that we've gotten into the mid to late game.
It's because of all that mid-game time he spent down bottom, sort of just farming that bottom lane. And we talked about how long it was taking him to get that turret, but he was last hitting well, at least, and getting to that late game rise. That is going to be extremely scary here for TSM.
And look at the major buy-up now here for Saintvicious. He rushed Runic Bulwark after the Spirit of the Ancient Golem and has that against an Area of Effect magic damage team, whereas you look at the TheOddOne and he's kind of halfway between, I guess he's finished Aegis now, but also has the Kindle Gem, maybe looking towards Lockout or something.
Yeah, Saintvicious definitely knows that if they want to have a chance in those team fights, they're definitely going to need that Bulwark. But the reason, going back to giving the red buff over to Voyboy, even though they haven't made a move with it, it was because we already have a level 5 Frost Shot from Ashe already, and that's a 35% slow. So stacking an extra red buff on top of that, not quite necessary. And it is always nice to have that extra slow and true damage burn on your tank or bruiser, because it makes them more threatening. And Shen sometimes can be ignored in the late game if he does miss those taunts like we saw earlier.
Sure. That's a really good point. So you're right, Cop, not needing the slow at all. But they are going to look for this turret right here, and they have just enough time to take it down. They're not going to look for an arrow off this one, though. Decided to not trade globals there with TSM. So no pickup, just Voyboy on the split push. Reggie actually called back into the team, was splitting top, but had no ward coverage, could have gotten ganked.
So it feels like it could be an extended game. If this does go the way Curse want it to go, then they're going to draw it out a little bit and get small advantages over and over again from the fact that they have Zyro for their disengage, Ashe for the engage, and Shen split pushing the whole time.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if TSM can grab you and TSM force you into a team fight, it will be a very explosive team fight that can easily end with not a single objective, but multiple objectives being taken.
Absolutely, man. The bases are available, especially if they can get the lanes pushed out and just turn that into everything. TSM are grouping now towards the mid lane right here. You're seeing actually all 5 of them about to be on this one, and they're going to look for what they can take down. That secondary middle turret, though, is already dead. There's not a lot for them to get out of this one, and Voy is still splitting on the bottom side, being tanky. That Spirit Visage we've seen, I think, 4 for 4 on Shen so far. Likes the item.
So since TSM are making the call right now to send all 5 people straight up the middle with this AoE team composition, they're looking to dive. They are definitely looking to make their move quickly so that Voyboy won't get those small advantages that we just talked about from split pushing and from buying that extra time.
But here's the timer, because he is on that turret right now. TSM have ward control over Baron, but they're in position to start it right here. I don't know if they're looking to bait this fight or if they're going to go hardcore.
Baiting could waste time, so that could be detrimental for them.
But they knocked up Saintvicious. They're going to dive in. The Cataclysm as well. The arrow comes across and misses, so the fight has begun. They don't find much else, though. TheOddOne burned his ult, but it's just 1 for 1.
And Curse are slowly winning over this time. There goes 1 turret down. Even though they had to use the Ashe arrow and the Zyro ultimate, they were able to get 1 turret. Look at this Baron burn down.
They're just going for it right here. TheOddOne's going to hope that he can outsmite Saintvicious, who can go back in. No, TheOddOne re-engages. They look for Edward. Edward dropped low on health, and the re-engage is in. Cop gets crescendo. Dyrus going to land it right on top of him. Here comes Voyboy. Xpecial just falls right over, and Nyjacky. Now Xpecial's alive, and Nyjacky's still trying to fight to get the kill onto Reginald's Karthus. Here comes the Requiem. Will it be enough for Edward? Yes, it is. 1 kill picked up on the back. 1 for 1 so far, and that is it. Dyrus squeaks away with no health. Curse got just that bottom turret.
Look at that blinking portrait there for Dyrus. I'd have to say maybe single digits were down on that one. But again, 1 for 1 trade. We're seeing the exact difference in these 2 team compositions. That's exactly what they want to do. Curse were able to, even though it was a 1 for 1 trade, come out with the extra turret kill for that one. So always have to keep that in mind. Plus, the length of the cooldown on Requiem is the longest in the game.
I also want to sort of talk about how desperately TSM tried to force that engage.
Oh, he did die.
Who?
2 for 1 there.
At the end, Dyrus?
I'm getting some information fed.
All right. But I still want to talk about how hardcore TSM tried to force that engage. They ran at Baron and said, look, we'll jump over the wall on you guys to pick up a kill and continue from there. TSM wants so badly to have a 5v5 battle start. They're jumping over walls, flashing over barriers to make things happen. You really want these AoE teamfights to happen.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you mentioned the flashes, because all the cooldowns for TSM on their flashes are synced up because they burned every flash in that last team fight. And this is because they're a very strong team fighting composition, but very immobile. So they have to rely on that long cooldown of flash to actually make those moves.
And of course now, Curse have picked up a Shirelia's Reverie on Edward, so they can actually try to get away from some of those TSM fights. However, TSM have made the early move there. They've got control over Dragon. This is completely theirs, but Curse are running at Baron.
Voyboy is the one making this call right here. He's starting this one up, and it looks like TSM are aware. They're making a beeline straight for it, so they aren't going to be able to sneak that amazing Dragon for Baron trade that anybody would like to take.
Unfortunately for TSM, Requiem was down, but that was not enough to have Curse stand and fight for the ground. TSM saying, no, we can run down the mid lane right here. You guys are still recalling. We've got a chance. Voy split pushing top lane, but look at the damage on this turret.
Yeah, they're going to take it down before anyone from Curse is in position to answer it.
That was a beautiful play here. The arrow lands. It finds WildTurtle. Oh, the AD carry taking so much damage. Rune Prison comes across. WildTurtle falls down. Reggie falls down as well. 2 for nothing so far. Crescendo comes out of Nyjacky, but that is a tanky rise. They're still going in. TheOddOne just baits for his team, says, look, I'll just go down. But a 3 for nothing for Curse as Xpecial and Dyrus try to run away.
Amazing answer from Curse right there. The team fight, they actually come out ahead because of the Crystal Arrow right under WildTurtle. And the only reason that fight went so well is because everything was chained right onto WildTurtle's face. And now they actually have a clear path to Baron.
Yeah, and you just look at it right there, just chunking it down right there. Cop moving between attacks for a second, and that is going to be Baron taken out, 33-29. Baron goes down. Curse wearing that one. Now they're pretty in purple. That is a good pickup. 5,000 gold for these guys is the lead.
And having Baron taken for the Curse team is actually even more telling for this game, because they're the ones that do have the options for choosing the fights. Like I said, the Crystal Arrows with the Stranglethorns, and then as well the ability to split push with Shen. So they're the ones with all the power in their hands right now. And we have to see how they actually decide to execute at this point. Because this is what people talk about when they talk about end-game decision-making and being concise with your movements. They're the ones with all the power right now, so they have to make it count. If TSM are able to just wave clear over and over and over at their turrets, then they can get right back in this game. Curse are not that far ahead.
That's absolutely true. So the 5-on-5 is what these guys need. Runic Bulwark has been completed. A lot of big items actually are getting done right here. Reggie close to the death cap. The Liandry's Abyssal already done here for Dyrus. As long as they can pierce through some of that, you know, giant MR stack for the Curse lineup, they can wipe these guys down in a team fight, especially if they can dodge an arrow.
Yep.
Voyboy still splitting the bottom. Ulti up soon. And of course, Curse still playing that push game now.
So if you're thinking, why don't Curse just do exactly what they did up at their base again? It's because it's very hard to start off a team fight with an arrow on WildTurtle. Now that he is hopefully aware and waking up, then it's going to be very hard for Curse to actually get the same series of events. So they have to be careful and not get sort of a false sense of confidence and rush in on any arrow that hits. If it starts off on TheOddOne, then it would be a much different story.
Exactly. As long as WildTurtle's quick on the draw, he should be able to dodge those arrows away. And he'll do his best to survive against this one. Cop trying to play the marksman. Voyboy, though, still splitting. And of course, the one thing to sort of think about as these turrets fall down, the Voyboy split push, he's still like nearby the rest of the TSM lineup. They can react to his pushes without too much difficulty.
It's not too long of a distance for Reggie to walk right now to go answer Voyboy right now. But with the Baron buff, every single person on Curse regens so quickly, and they have the power to get those few hits on a turret, then back up and reapply.
And so here we go. Just Edward kind of get rid of minions. The rest of the team actually has collapsed towards the left-hand side, that secondary turret in the top lane. They're going to go for the minions first, but Curse, they definitely are trying to run the map. They're trying to just find the openings, say, look, the 5v5 is good for you, so if we can split you up and just poke the turret down, we'd love that.
It's exactly what Curse are looking for, the small wins that they get for delaying out TSM and having Voyboy get his free time down bottom. And you can also see that Curse are preparing for the eventual just giant team fight, because every person besides support is grabbing a Negatron cloak. They're all building this magic resistance for all of that AoE damage.
They do all have one, you're absolutely right. So a lot of MR Hero, of course, on top of the Runic Bulwark. These guys are ready to survive the Dyrus Reggie onslaught. And that says, okay, well, it is on WildTurtle. He went for the Infinity Edge build. He went for the auto attack carry build, where he's going to be trying to basic attack a bunch, use the quick draw attack speed, try to crit people down. All right, WildTurtle, don't get arrows, try to kill people. Got arrows!
Oh no, there goes Saintvicious, jumping in with the Stand United.
And Dyrus just explodes right there. Nyjacky up in the front, Abba forced to flash away from the Stranglethorns, but there is Cop now. Cop getting caught out, he's gonna explode. Reggie finds that kill, Ever gets caught as well. Can they get away from this one? Reggie blocks a lot of damage with the Seraph's Embrace shield, and here comes the Requiem.
Oh no!
Goodbye, Nyjacky. Double kill, 3 kills overall actually, 3-1 for TSM.
Curse try and hit the abort button right there. Oh no, our AD carry's in the middle of the base right now. Way too far out there, and they just got demolished. We talked about the ease that TSM could turn one of these team fights around. Just saw it in action there, and since the inhibitor's already exposed, they can go take this one, and it's up to Voyboy to not, get a little over anxious here and die trying to defend it.
TSM has 20 seconds and a minion wave. They do want to make some moves here. Dragon is up, Baron is not. TSM actually backs away from the inhib death. Blue, red, and soon Dragon are up, so TSM could take a lot off of this.
Man, Curse, how to say they don't want to get overconfident and hope that a team fight will play out exactly how it did up at their base, but they did. I guess, the arrow onto Turtle was, even that wasn't enough there because they're fighting under a turret. Curse, they didn't have to do that. They were the ones getting those small wins because of Voyboy down bottom, and they kind of threw that away there. The Baron buff advantage plus the split pushing advantage.
The blue and red were both stolen as well, and you're seeing the gold now tighten back up, only 3,000 away. So Curse is going to want to try to attack that and keep that one growing.
Yeah, well, blue, red, and dragon. So TSM just picked up all the marbles and ran back to their base. So good job by them not extending their stay out in the open.
And in 1.5 minutes, purple is available as well, and that could be honestly and it's weird, we talked about that last time the Baron went down, where you're like, wow, it's actually Curse who got it, because that's the kind of thing TSM wants to fight over. With a minute 15 to go till Baron, and the mid inhibitor dead. This is a good situation for TSM.
It's very funny how the tables have turned so quickly in these North American LCS games. And now it's TSM popping the Oracles at the perfect time right there. They've actually passed 2 wards, but they're looking to take advantage of the vision and try and catch people out. Because if they take down one piece of this Curse team, then they can easily force their fight and go for the dive, which is what they're looking for.
Yeah, TSM are a team of DJs for how much they're turning the tables here. Kind of grouping up, pushing the top lane down. They're ready to 5v5 for this one. And now that Curse isn't wearing a Baron buff, maybe these guys are strong enough. Voy has his ulti, is split pushing the bottom lane, but they've got about 45 seconds till he threatens anything.
Here it comes, Stand United again on Saintvicious.
And the stun lands onto the TheOddOne. The blood bounce, the knockup from Zyra as well. There comes the crescendo, the Requiem, everything. Doing as much damage as possible. There's the Requiem, actually. 2 kills picked up for Curse. Requiem gets no one, actually. But Nyjacky is overextended. Dyrus picks him up. They stopped the split push, but they lost the fight. However, they have low health bars for Curse. They could get the turret.
Okay, so when you see your back line retreat like that, Saintvicious and Voyboy running for the hills, as a mid lane or back line player like Ashe or Ryze, that is your signal to also retreat, not go forward like that. And Nyjacky definitely a little bit overconfident right there, paid for it with his life.
I think he thought he was so tanky with his 2 Negatron cloaks and Frozen Heart, he'd have been fine there. Unfortunately, underestimated the TSM damage output, and Baron is now back on the table. No Requiem up, but the rest of the cooldown's coming up fairly soon, and this is good for TSM. WildTurtle just got a fresh red buff.
They've got 2 people who can jump over the back, but look at these wards. They can actually see into the Baron pit a little bit, and the pings are coming down. They know that they're on Baron. They can't see Baron's health, though.
It's down to half right now.
Steal would be very hard.
It's down to half. OddOne is not nearby. This could be Curse taking it down. Edward trying to zone out the team. 1,000 health left. Equalizer does not make that happen. Arrow comes across. They taunt Dyrus. Dyrus getting cut up right there. No spells left on him. More damage coming. Cop gets caught out. A double kill here for WildTurtle. The crescendo lands onto Voyboy. Voy trying to run, slowed down by Xpecial. Flashes a knockup from the OddOne, but the Cataclysm comes across. No, taunts away. Voy still alive, but there's 45 seconds with a minion wave here for TSM.
TSM have the power play, 5 men to only 3, and they can just wreck Curse's base right now. The thing about going for Baron is that you are grouped up, which is exactly what TSM want with this team composition. They can just unload on you while you're trapped inside that Baron basin.
And Dyrus had to recall and heal back up, so it's 4-on-3 for now. Jump in on a Nyjacky. Do they have the damage? Exhaust comes up. Reggie gonna fall over, but he has Requiem. Now it's the TheOddOne trying to put the damage out, but there, Requiem not gonna pick up any kills in this one, but does lower the health bars. Now it's a 4-on-3. Edward back up in 6 seconds. Top turret goes down. Now onto the inhibitor. TSM trying to feel strong, but the revives are here. Edward's there. Taunt lands. Re-engage by Saintvicious. There comes the equalizer. The Let's Bounce comes across. Who's gonna fall down? Dyrus stuck in the middle. The inhibitor's gonna try to go down. OddOne stops hitting it though. There's the stand united with Nyjacky. Nyjacky goes down. They trade 1 for 1. 2 kills picked up. Double kill for Edward. The support carry is 5-5 and 11. Another kill comes across, and TSM gets aced.
Don't know exactly why they stopped hitting the inhibitor when it only had 2 more strikes left. Even Xpecial there on the side, auto attacking to try and take down another person. They don't get that second inhibitor. Curse do a good job of defending that one, and this is a relatively recent change that we've seen in this Season 3 where home guard boots completely change the end of games because people will come speeding out of the base just like that and turn it around in the blink of an eye.
And speaking of Edward carry from the pregame, he has the most kills on his team. Edward is the killing, still counts. He is the killingest member on the team right there. They're going for the backdoor. They land the stun onto Reggie. The root's gonna land as well. Pops the Seraph's shield. Voyboy goes in. Goodbye, Reginald. Does not have Requiem. Voyboy has to leave. Oh my gosh, he might die. Ooh, 49 health.
Very, very close right there, but they were able to get the kill and get back out. So Voyboy still wearing that Baron buff, and him and Saintvicious are actually the only ones that survived with that. But it's going to time out anyways by the time they next fight. This is just a ridiculous game right now, Freak.
It's freaking crazy. This game is ludicrous. This game is absolutely weird, and Curse are just barely finding the fights they need, winning 5-on-5s against a team fight comp and splitting up TSM when they need. They've taken 2 Barons so far. They're up 7 kills. They're up a little bit of gold, about 10%. TSM, though, again, they had the early inhibitor lead, and now they're going to try to play defense on a Curse that's looking to push.
It's also very interesting to note that Curse have been engaging over and over with this composition, and they can repeatedly use their Stand United on Saintvicious instead of on a backline here. So it's interesting that they haven't gone with the Zyra route there and looking to start things off from a counter-engage perspective.
They might just stay for the inhibitor. Saint's going to actually go in for that one, knocks it down. Inhib does fall down. Now will TSM re-engage? Shirelia's pop. Knock up there onto Saint. Does TSM follow? Stun onto Reggie. They pop into little bloblets right here. 5-on-4. They're going to get the kill onto Zach. Now TSM, can they re-engage? They get the wall to cleanse the actually QSS forced away by Cop.
70-second death timer right now for being level 18 means that Saint is not going to be back up in time to defend the next push, and OddOne catches him!
The Cataclysm's so important, but the re-engage is there. OddOne's going to fall.
No, he's
not, but they kill off Cop. That's 2 kills down. TSM now have another 5-on-3.
So they're walking back here. Since the TheOddOne did get so low, he's not going to participate, and it will effectively be a 4 versus 3 at both of these exposed inhibitors, which should go to TSM uncontested because Curse, it would be extremely dangerous for them to try and fight for these ones right now.
Well, Edward's going to go for the roots there, does not land them onto Reginald. Reginald already burned the wall of pain. More plants come down from Edward, and there we go. Double inhibitor death.
All right.
TheOddOne sweeps out the left-hand side lane. Mid inhibitor's dead for TSM. 2 inhibitors dead for Curse. The game, still crazy.
Check.
Yes.
Now we have, again, TSM, not only did they take both those inhibitors too, but they ran around and grabbed up the red buff. They didn't go down to the dragon because it's a bit too far, and if you overplay your hand at this point in the game for just the small amount of global gold that gives you, it's definitely not worth the relative power that an extra person on the board would give you. So losing anyone for dragon at this point, definitely not worth it. Whereas people are very happy to trade a single death for dragon in the early game.
Yeah.
Things completely change the later you get.
These guys are ironically enough focused on champion kills now in the late game. Now that 300 gold doesn't mean much, getting off the map means a freaking heck of a lot. So here we go. WildTurtle got his own blue buff, is wearing a bunch of elixirs. By the way, he's full on items at this point by a lot, 11 and 5. Just wearing a blue elixir just to be fashionable at this point, and gets his own red buff as well. Reggie, wearing a lot of elixirs, has only one item slot still to replace. But look at that, Curse are pushing the mid lane, forcing TSM back.
Again, they're forcing the issue here, but you can tell that by sending Saintvicious top, they don't actually want to fight. They're just trying to get a few more minion kills here and not give up all this money. One thing about having 2 inhibitors down is that all the minions, the lines will be pushing towards their opponent's base. So if you sort of leave them there, then they actually get to farm at sort of a relatively safer area.
Yeah, these guys are kind of just trading gigantic minion waves back and forth. You get one shoved, you see TSM, you must defend this. And now the rest of Curse must back out. TSM are making a beeline for this middle lane. And I mean, you remember this is actually how Curse won one of their games before, I think against CLG, if I have the teams right. They just went for the base and no one responded in time. Curse must defend this. TSM looks for the bottom lane turret, the last inhibitor left available.
This will be a very interesting play here from Curse because they have a bit of time before that top lane does push into the base and they have to defend that Nexus turret. If TSM actually rush this dive on the bottom lane here, then they're very well equipped to handle an all-in dive from TSM. Not only do they have Zyra to lay down the disengaged combos, but they can use that Stand United instead of on Saint for the engage, actually on Cop or on Nyjacky to increase the damage that they can output.
But TSM, they're not looking to dive the base, though. They're actually looking for the Baron buff, or the Baron itself that has just respawned, and they've swept out ward control right here. These guys are lurking in the brush.
No.
Saint's going to get found right there, but arrow lands onto the OddOne. Let's Bounce comes across. Will it be enough? I don't see Stand United coming across. They just don't even want to try for this one right now. Reggie diving on in. There comes the equalizer. Reggie does not quite fall over. There he goes. Cataclysm comes across. This could be a huge Requiem right here. WildTurtle tries to take down Voyboy. Nyjacky just survives, though. But look at the kills that happen. 3 for 3, I believe, if I have my numbers right. Nyjacky and Cop forced to run. WildTurtle and Xpecial just barely pushing mid.
Still so close, and actually Cop and Nyjacky have to get back to the base to heal up here because WildTurtle shoving down that mid lane, you know, he and Xpecial could actually 2-man this Baron. So if Cop and Nyjacky are seen in the base clearing minion waves, then TSM can actually just clear this one out by themselves.
Xpecial has swept it out and stays in the pit. They're gonna go for it here. Xpecial and WildTurtle, 30 seconds until any of their teammates respawn, 25 for anyone on Curse, and the damage output is here. And look at that, you're right, they're sitting in their base defending. That's Curse. So Team Solomid will be duoing the Baron and take it for the team.
So that was why WildTurtle went and immediately shoved the mid lane. He wasn't being a greedy AD carry and trying to get a few more gold, because like you said, he's maxed out on items. The only reason to shove that mid lane was to get the vision of Cop and Nyjacky through their minion waves that they're going to march through the front door and allowing them to pick up this Baron. By the way, they didn't actually wait for their teammates, so two people missing out on that buff.
Yeah, only the 2 of those who took it down were wearing that buff right now. So Reggie, TheOddOne, and Dyrus, unless I'm mistaken, will not be wearing that one at all. And there you can see, these guys are not fashionable. So Reggie's got a nice little blue glow right here, but
WildTurtle Xpecial, like, you guys didn't help get it. It's ours.
Yeah.
We're the only ones that get to wear it.
You only killed 3 members of Curse. Like, no big deal. You don't deserve this one. The Curse, though, on the defense now. Nyjacky wearing a Banshee's Veil. He has hit max items. Voyboy's only 1 item away. Saint has hit max items. A lot of full builds. There's the Asher, lands on a Dyrus, and in they go. Do they have the damage up? But Shenton comes across. They find WildTurtle. He cleanses away and runs backward. He's cut it successfully. Saint taking a bunch of damage. Knockup only hits onto the TheOddOne, and the re-engages here. Saint forced to run. Everyone else on TSM still alive, and they're going to re-engage back in. TSM feeling very good right now.
Such an overextended engage from Curse right there. The problem with following up on a Zac engage like that, yes, he's got amazing range with his Elastic Slingshot, but he Elastic Slingshot and Flash, so the damage can follow up there for Curse.
And they picked up Edward and Saintvicious off that Requiem. This could be the game for TSM, a 5-on-3. They've got no ult, they've got Crescendo, but they've got the rest of the minion waves flooding in. They look now for the bottom lane as Curse tries to hold on. 54 seconds on the Edward revive. Bottom turret going down. 3 inhibitors will be dropped here. No inhib revive is going to save the Nexus this time around. And now's the TSM time to strike. 40 seconds to go.
Yep, they just have to keep their presence inside the base because they've got 3 waves of super minions coming to help them. And if all that they do is clear out Curse's minions, then that's all that they're going to need to. But you know, they've got extra damage to add on to the turrets as well.
25 seconds till the respawns. Only 1 minion wave left. Damage off onto the TheOddOne. The revives are all here for TSM. Actually, Reggie low on mana could be a bit of a risk. They find some damage. TheOddOne rooted in turret range. Reggie taking the turret as well. Comp so far defending this one. Dyrus in range. Arrow lands. They're going to go on Dyrus. Couple hits to go, but 1 turret goes down. The taunt misses. They find Reggie, though. Ult comes off on a Comp. A lot of damage there. Turret still losing health. That's going to be all turrets dead now for Curse. Can they re-engage? They've got the revives. They're actually going to hold on to the base.
So it's going to take a bit longer here, but it's still going to be extremely hard for Curse this game. They have to stay inside their base right now. The bright side for them is that they will be accruing steady money because the minions are constantly going to be inside their base. So they're actually the ones with the cash flow right now. The problem, let's go over it once again since we have some time here, is the last engage, Saint rushed it a bit. You can't overextend like that so far when you're on a front line champion. So let's take a look at the replay and we can actually watch as I'll explain it here. Saint, he starts from so far away with the elastic engage and then flashes forward again. So this whole time right now, this first 15 seconds, no damage is being dealt for Curse. Even though Saint spent that whole time tanking TSM, he wasn't tanking for a reason. There was no damage from Nyjacky or from Cop because they simply could not get in range to follow up on that engage. And even though they weren't able to immediately come out with a kill, TSM clearly won that team fight. Saint used all his life, and then they were able to just go pick him up off the ground, scoop him off the side of the wall.
Flatten little bloblets, turn him into goo, and they can go back to the summoning platform right there. So here we go. TSM no longer wearing the Baron buff, but they've got giant minion waves flooding into Curse's base. The only difference for Curse now is that they actually have their own champions alive. But Super Minions just might make this something like a 7v5. TSM have every ultimate. They have almost every summoner spell. Just Reggie's missing his flash. Curse in a pretty similar scenario here.
They're just going to try desperately to fend off all these attackers, but double super creeps coming in every wave is extremely, extremely difficult. So it'd have to be a misstep from TSM at this point because there's not even turrets defending that Nexus.
You're right, so here we go. TSM looking to make their move in, clearing out the minions, trying to get their 6th man, the minion wave down. There's a stun, they find Dyrus, the engage comes in. Voyboy cannot land the taunt. There it is, finally comes in. The knockup from the TheOddOne, and there's the big team fight. Saint's gonna go down, Reggie low but pops Zonius. Edward's gonna fall, double kill for WildTurtle, and everyone from Curse are falling down. This is gonna be the game. TSM in a grueling battle takes the victory over Curse.
Congratulations to TSM. I mean, 55 minutes. This wasn't even a CLG game here. We outpaced CLG here, so the other old teams actually showing up for the long games as well.
So really, really impressive game here. Crazy, as we called it throughout the mid-game.
So bad.
We even had, towards the end here, WildTurtle selling his boots, upgraded and all, for a Zephyr. So that's really when AD carries get to their limits. Like, you can't actually even squeeze in another item to this WildTurtle build at this point. He's literally sold the shoes off of his feet to grab another weapon instead.
Sold the shoes off his feet for, and if you're Master Yi though, at least you have sword boots. So you kind of split the difference there, at least in that. I mean, no one's playing except for Skara, but for what it's worth.
I knew I was trying to set you up for one.
Thanks, dog. Yes, teamwork here from the casting booth right there. And I gotta say, man, just the number of crazy plays there. I mean, the team fights, Curse looking to start battles, the arrows coming in, the hardcore engages. They split up TSM so well. They took 2 Barons. I actually can't believe they lost with the early gold lead they kind of built up.
I mean, patience is definitely a virtue, especially when you're running with a Shen. And it seemed like there were a few small instances when Curse got a bit impatient, and it did end up costing them a couple key objectives, which turned around the game.
So good job by TSM then to capitalize on the impatience. Now after that grueling battle, we've got to take a short break, but when we return, we'll be joined by TSM's Xpecial to talk about their marathon match versus Curse.